Hello, my friends. It's Trish Carr, and we're here for another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. I'm so glad you are here with me right now. And I know that you are going to be so thrilled that you are here because we're going to talk about a topic that is quite relevant, and it has been relevant for a long time. And my guest today is a very accomplished woman who has experienced in her life bullying. I mean, come on, raise your hand if you've ever been bullied, right? How many hands do we have? And the interesting thing is, we always think of bullying as something that happens in school and doesn't happen anywhere else. But that's not true because we get bullied all the time. And people are there. And while they may not mean to intimidate us, they do come across that way. So, how do you deal with that? And how do you get beyond that? We all feel it. So I'm so glad that you are here today because what you learn, we do business with businesses, but not really. We do business with people, and people are the thing that we like, we know, and we trust. So when we want to do business with a business, it takes it to the next level when we know the person behind the business. And that's what Be Real, Get Real is all about. So let me tell you about my guest today, and we're going to get right into it. I'm going to put on my groovy little glasses. Don't you like these? I saw Al Roker on the Today Show. He had these groovy little glasses. I was like, I want pretty glasses too. So I got myself a little pretty glasses. So anyway, let me tell you all about Suzanne Moulay. Suzanne is the principal and founder of Sure-Footed Wisdom, a consulting firm focusing on lead generation, strategy, implementation, and communication. Fabulous over 40. I love that. Fabulous over 40. Her passion and commitment to help women age in reverse. Love it. Love it, and live their best life through health and wellness. She's got 20 years lead generation, business development, leadership, public speaking, political and management experience. She brings humor and common sense to executive, corporate, political, and nonprofit consulting. And as you can tell, she is multi passionate and quite the entrepreneur. Her extracurricular activities include community activism, paper crafting. Can't wait to hear about that. I'm wondering, is that the same as origami? Home improvement, healthy cooking, travel, and spending time with her family. Please help me welcome Suzanne Moulay. Suzanne
Hello.
Moulay, how are you this morning?
I'm fabulous. It's a fabulous
Fabulous over
Friday.
40. You're
I know.
fabulous over 40 on this
I am.
fabulous
Actually,
Friday.
I'm actually fabulous over 50.
Oh
Truth be
my. Well,
told.
that certainly doesn't show on your skin. So you must be doing something special there.
Yep, I do. Lots of
Well,
things.
well, I know you work with people to put their best face forward
Yep,
and to look the
absolutely.
best. So you do image consulting and you work with skincare as well, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So, I've been in the industry for many years, and so I have a certification in makeup artistry. I've spent a lot of years, using skincare and selling it. I got a lot of on the job experience. I worked for Sephora for 4 years, which was fun in their skin department, and I expanded even further. Um, More products to try, what works, what doesn't work. But I'm not too totally bougie. I like some drugstore stuff, but also some things depending on what it is what drives how I help people. But probably the biggest impact on one's skincare and is your health. It's what you're feeding your body, and that can drive really good skin. You get a good glow when you eat cleaner and you're eating the right things and the right quantities. And I do believe in supplements. Um, People don't sometimes like, I want to do it without supplements. I'm like, well, you get to a certain age and you have to, because your body is not operating like it did when you were in your 20s. So there are things that you have to do to change that from the inside. I call it inside out beauty.
Yeah. So, it goes so beautifully well. Well, and the other thing is water, right? Drinking
Yeah.
water. Do you ascribe to the 8 a day?
Oh, more than that. I recommend people to have at least 100 ounces of water a day.
Oh,
Yeah, that
Oh,
it takes it up to the next notch. So this is 24 hours. I have 5 to 6 of these a day. Um, and because as we age, but also in the summer, if you're in climates that are really dry. So
yeah,
I'm in Utah. So if you're not drinking enough water, you're walking around dehydrated all the time. And that affects every single body function. It's not just your skin. It affects your eyes, your lungs. Your lungs are, believe it or not, 80% water. So if you don't hydrate well, you cannot get proper body function. You're not going to get enough oxygen. And when you don't have enough oxygen in your system, it affects your brain function. It affects your energy level. It affects really how you even break down fat in your
right.
body. So you're not giving all of your organs what they need and the chemical reactions that use water. People don't realize how important water is. It's not just, drink your water.
Drink it. Yeah, you just inspired one of someone who's watching with us on Facebook. Just grab my water, she said.
Excellent.
So yay. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because it looks like you have like the total meld. It's like you work with people, and I'm thinking women, right? Because always on my mind, Women's
Right.
Prosperity Network, right? So you work with, let's say, women business owners to move their businesses forward with lead generation and leadership and sales and that type of thing. And that same business owner, you also help them put their best face forward, being fabulous over 40, and
Yeah.
help them to look good, feel good, have, the least amount of these wrinkle lines and things like that. It's
But
beautiful.
honestly, thank you. I appreciate it because we are, I like to look at situations and people and business owners as holistically. It's not a two-dimensional interaction. Um, how you, because a lot of times as we age, whether you're, male or female, but especially women, we get to a certain place where you look in the mirror and you're like, who who is that?
What
Like, where did she,
happened?
like, where did she come from? Like, what the actual crap, And then they don't know what to do. And I'm not dissing on the medical profession because I'm like one of a handful of people in my family that's not in the medical profession. They don't spend a whole lot of time on really in diving into like really what you want to do. Even with your skin as a dermatologist, they talk a lot about, oh, you need to use this, you need to take this pill, you need to put this. Well, how about having the conversation? Like, are you sleeping enough?
Mm-hmm.
Are you drinking enough water? What are you eating?
Right.
All of those things, they don't talk about that. It's just like, okay, here's a Band-Aid, see you. That was your 10-minute consult, and you buy next on to the next patient. And I
Right.
get it, it's a business. They have to see a certain amount of people in order to keep their doors open. But when you start feeling better about yourself, when you look in the mirror, how you perceive yourself, that changes how you interact with people, how you negotiate, how much value you see in yourself because of you. When I consult with women, it's like, what's the goal you have for yourself? If you want to lose weight, great. How much weight do you want to lose? Why? Why do you want to lose that?
Yeah.
Not you have to. It's like, why? Like, what's driving you to do it? And what can I do to help you match where you want to go with your lifestyle and what you're willing and not willing to do? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
again, meeting people where they are. So it's not like, suppose somebody, they're doing a lot more videos. They're like, well, how can I appear more confident? Well, I don't know. Let's talk about that. Do you need a new hairstyle? Do you need different makeup application? Just tiny tweaks. I don't want to be full on glam. You don't have to. I
Right.
mean, you
Right.
don't.
I'm not full on glam. Got a
Yeah,
little bit going on here and there, some
you look
lipstick. That's
great,
it.
but
Thank
you
you.
like
Yeah.
what is it that you need for you to feel your best confident self? Not my definition. What's your definition? And how can I help you get there?
Yeah.
Same with any business consulting as well, or strategy. Like, where do you want to go? What are your resources? What are you willing, not willing to do? What support do you have?
Right.
All of those are component parts. Meet people where they are and take them where they want to go. And I can
Right.
be that guide to help them. And if I can't help them, I show them other people. That's why I love networking. That's why I love Women's Prosperity Network specifically, is that if I can't help them with the situation, I can tap into my network of contacts to make sure that they don't leave me without some sort of direction.
Right. I feel the same way.
Yeah, it's not all about me. It's helping people get where they want to go.
Yeah. And I love that you talked about confidence, because it's the difference maker for so many of us. And you were telling me that when you were younger, well, the whole confidence thing, and how, as you age, you get more confident, less confident. I mean, it's normal. We're on a roller coaster of life.
Right.
And you were telling me about, when you were younger and building your confidence as a child, and that you were actually bullied.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So my shockingly, bullying happened to me in middle school. I mean, I would have slight comments. I was a chubby girl growing up. I'm Hispanic. My family, it's like it in our culture. Well, my family culture, if you have a little weight on you, it was irrelevant. We ate rice and beans and fried foods and hardly any vegetables, really.
I know.
But
believe me, I know Hispanic culture. I love it. You could be curvy, baby.
Yeah, and when somebody calls you flaca, I mean, that's sometimes not like flaca means skinny. That's not like a compliment. Hey, flaca, it's more of a derogatory term. And when I would lose weight, and my mom would see my my
collarbone.
My mother's like, you could put soap and a towel on there in the shower, like, and not in a good way. So I knew. So it was funny. So, but growing up until I was always like, pleasantly plump, but then, I had some comments, about being fat. Actually, I got bullied being Hispanic. I went, but that too happened in middle school. So the problem was in middle school. I was my mother, my parents are, for another country. And so I had greasy hair and I wasn't allowed to wash my hair every day. My mom's like, natural grease, it's great for your hair. You won't believe me now, but you will believe me in the future. You'll be thankful, I'm greasy skin. And I wore hand-me-downs, and my sister's hand-me-downs, and she was 6 years older. And so I was never like in style. I played the violin. I was smart. I was always in the accelerated classes. So here I am, was like a total great geek alert. Let's not beat up on her, but I'd get on the bus and people would call me names. And remember those pop rocks where you throw on the ground and they go pop, 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 pop. Well, they would like smack them on my head on the bus. And it was hard. And, I was, but my mom was a very aware mom. And she started noticing my behavior changing. And like, I was very withdrawn because, I'm pretty, I'm an outgoing kind of person. I became very withdrawn, didn't really, I was sick all the time, didn't want to go to school. And so, we switched, she found out I was being bullied. She, switched me to another school, private school, which we really couldn't afford. But my mom, found out about it and she's like, oh, this is a good place. I went there a couple of days. The people were so nice. The kids were so nice that, they rooked me in, and then I got there, and then the bullying got even worse at that school. And, but again, my mom kept on building up my confidence and saying, most people, when they beat up on you, it's either they're jealous of you or they don't know how to handle, they're jealous of you in some form or fashion and they can't handle it. So they're going to try to tear you down, but there's nothing wrong with you. You're beautiful and you're smart and you have all of these things that you have to offer. And so it helped build me up. I relied and leaned into my mom's belief in me. And so after eighth, finally, the bullying really only stopped when my mom, my mom didn't drive. My mom still doesn't drive. God bless her, 91 years old, never driven a day in her life. She took the taxi to go and talk to the principal and said, this has got to stop and blah, blah, blah. And she's not the only one and something needs to be done. And so they did. They had these big, meetings like, you guys can't do this to kids anymore. It's not who we are. It was a Christian school. And like, this is not who we are. It's not Christian like to do that. So that stopped for a while, but it gave me enough breathing room to say, okay, you have to speak up. You have to not defend yourself, but you have to speak up for what's right. And if you have to pull in help, go ahead and do it. It's not a bad thing to ask for help. So I realized what was possible when you were brought community into it. And that community happened to be like my mom. And then these other girls in my class who got bullied and some boys who got bullied. And that helped me. And then, so it changed everything. Started, I ended up begging my parents. I'm like, I know that you don't mind extra weight, but I want to lose weight. My first 4, I took the bus to go to Weight Watchers, lost weight. 9th grade started like at a healthy weight actually. And then it just changed everything, changed my whole high school experience. And it really changed. And it proved to me that also when I focused on something, I could achieve it because I was still able to get to my goal weight using the food my mother would cook. She was
rice and beans.
Rice and beans. I'm like, okay, and I started portioning them out. And how can I do that within the environment I'm in? How can I still be successful in spite of the art? If I have very little control over certain things, prove to me myself, there's nothing you can't do. And that's what started me overcoming, being bullied and standing up for myself and being more confident in who I am.
Well, it's extraordinary that at 11, 12, 13, right? 8th grade, 9th grade, 12, 13, you realized then speaking up was the first thing you had to do. And secondly, that to ask for help was a good thing. I think so many of us, I know I'm speaking for myself at that age, I too was bullied. Imagine my last name was Carr. I was chubby. So they would change my name to Truck and Bus and all of that.
So you hear me.
Yeah. So I totally hear what you're saying. And that whole speaking up thing and standing in the power at 12 years old, kudos to you that you were able to get that and see that. And then, it carries over into your life. So we were talking just before I hit the get online button, and you were saying how you used to work for attorneys. And it's so funny because, okay, so I used to work for the phone company. When you were working for attorneys, I was working for the phone company. And I spoke to businesses, not the consumers, businesses. So we would hear from all kinds of businesses. And every time an attorney called, I felt terribly intimidated. Like I felt they were coming through the phone to me saying, I'm better than you, do it my way. And then you're telling me now that you worked for attorneys. Talk a little bit about that bullying situation and again, how you handled it.
Yeah, I had a really great career, about 12 or 13 years as a paralegal. And it was, I had a great career. And I had some really great bosses who saw my value and supported me and developed my skill set. They saw what was great. And I had some not so great. Right. So, so my mom also, even though I was raised Hispanic, my parents believed in education. My dad said, you need to have an education because you can't rely on a man to support you. And my mom too. So, my dad never yelled at us, and we were, I had a great relationship. He showed what's the right way to treat women. So I had this attorney who used to just yell for people, yell for his secretary, yell for his paralegal, and he'd holler at them and they'd come running. They drop everything, come running. Even if they had something to do, they dropped everything. And so I got pulled into this case and he called for me and he's like, Mulet. Mind you, his office was just catty corner to mine. And I'm like, I'm not going to go. I'm not yelling. And my mother also taught me, you don't yell across the house. You come find me. Don't yell across the house. So I didn't yell back. Like, I'm here. What do you want?
Right.
So he kept on yelling for me. And then he asked his secretary, where is she? Like, she's in her office. And she came, she's like, he's calling for you. Why aren't you coming? I'm like, because I'm not a dog. I have an intercom, or he can walk over here. And she's like, he's not going to like it. I'm like, whatever.
Too bad. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. And I mean, I was like 27 years old. And so, and this guy was probably like mid 40s. So he's like 20 years older than me, a partner in the law firm. I didn't even report to him. And so all of a sudden she said, he's like, well, where is she? He's like, she's in her office. And I'm hearing all this. He's like, well, why isn't she coming? She's like, she's not. She said to tell you that she's not a dog. And she has an intercom. He's like, what's her extension? She gave it to me. He's like, Mulet. I'm like, yes. so-and-so. And he, like, what can I do for you? He's like, can you come into my office? I'm like, sure. Do I need to bring anything with me? He's like, bring a pad of paper or what? I'm like, okay, great. And I walked over there and he didn't mention it, didn't say, what the hell were you talking about? And never, ever after that did he ever holler for me. And he treated me a lot differently. He treated me with much more respect than he did the people around him. And I had a similar incident with another attorney I worked for. And that changed everything with him too. It got to the point where he was more confident to be able to hand cases over and would tell his clients, if Suzanne asks you for something, it's like me asking you. And that changed everything. I had to stand up for myself. And I knew I could have lost my job, but it's not worth it. Losing a job is not worth being bullied is not worth it in a job or people.
Yeah. And so many people who, I mean, in lots of ways in life, that's just one example. And all you had to do was say, you don't talk to me that way.
And
that's it. That's all you had to do.
Yeah. And it wasn't in a disrespectful way. It wasn't even in a disrespectful way. It's like, this is the line. And this is my line. And again, it was a lesson in boundaries. What are you? People train other people to treat them. You train people on how to treat you. Like and then I transitioned into sales, and sometimes I would encounter people, when having a conversation, and they would try to bully their way into the conversation, and in order to get all the information they need first. And like, you know what? I don't even know if I want to work with you yet. So I'm not going to talk price. I'm not going to talk this. I'll get to that, but I need to know more about you and your business to see if I'm a fit. Don't try to submarine the call. It's not all about you. I may not be even the right choice for you. So why am I going to, maybe I don't even want to work for you. You're going to be an a-hole. The beginning of this, forget it. I don't even want you as a client.
Yeah. I love that. The whole thing about being confident is saying to yourself, this may not be somebody I want to work with, instead of, oh, I need to work so bad. I need the business. Let me mold myself to this person. When you stand up for you and you have the integrity and the intestinal fortitude, it's actually attractive. People like confidence. You'll get way more business with confidence than you will with trying to be everything to everyone.
Right. And we, as and especially for entrepreneurs, you get to choose your clients. You really do. Mm-hmm. And, if you're working a regular business, you can't control that. No, you have to work with them because this is your job. But you still have the ability to work with that person on your terms and not have to accept being bullied and being steamrolled. Everyone has their brilliance. What you know. They don't know that. Just stand on that and don't allow yourself to be bullied. And in some instances, sometimes you have to fire a client. If they're constantly disrespecting you, you have to fire them. And know that, I don't know if a person's a spiritual person. The universe, God has your back. And if you say, I'm worth more than this, the world will conspire to support that. As long as your belief is strong enough and then you start bringing in the right people and you will attract the right clients. And when we are like that, you become more confident, you become literally more attractive, not in that facial thing. It's attractive. They want to work, you're attracting them to you, not in the sense of physicality, but energy wise, you are attracting them. So I'm glad, I've learned these lessons, as a kid, and I don't think I would trade it in because it helped me also become a much more compassionate person. I don't take people on their face value. I don't try to, we all have, our thoughts that go through our head, but you have to constantly challenge yourself. Like going into a conversation, we have preconceived notions of how a call might go. You don't do that. You have to release all preconceived notions and allow the person to, provide them the space to let them show up as they are, so you can truly see them and not have those preconceived notions about who they be.
Yes. And, I love what you're saying about you've got to just be you, stand up, be confident. And sometimes it's challenging to do that on your own. So that's one of our missions at Women's Prosperity Network is we come together so that we can all remind each other you're fabulous. In fact, one of our favorite phrases is you're totally freaking awesome.
Yep.
Because when you're surrounded by people who uplift you, it's way easier to stay there than it is when you're all by yourself. So, Suzanne, I am so happy that we had this time to share with our listeners your story and how it's really made you the woman you are and how you can make a bigger difference for people. So I have your website. I'm going to put that up so that everybody knows how to reach you. It's SuzanneMulet.com. And when you go there, tell them what they'll find when they go there, if there's anything special you want them to know.
Well, I've got, different areas where I work with people. There's a contact me form in there as well. If you don't see what you're looking for, shoot me an email. And my email is Suzanne@SuzanneMulet.com. So it's not that I don't try to make it too hard for people. And that way I can, if they ever interested in talking about whatever their situation is. And again, if I'm not the right match for them, I try to steer people toward the right match for them.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us today, Suzanne.
Thanks for the
opportunity. This has been a great conversation. Oh, my goodness. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for sharing so much about yourself and for being real and getting real, because when we're real and we get real, we achieve real results.
Amen.
Thank you all. Thank you, Suzanne, for being with me today. Thank you all for being with us today. And please go ahead and see that little button that says share. Go ahead and click on that and share. And while you're at it, let us know, what do you do when somebody's trying to bully you? How do you handle it? Thank you so much for being with us. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you next time for another Be Real, Get Real broadcast. Take care, everybody.